complements well the elegant poses and realistic treatment of certain bodily features, such as the eyes and beards inspired from classical Greek art. Royal iconography is revealing for the manner in which Commagenian kings, and Antiochus I in particular, wish to be perceived by the participants in the rituals that went with that. The king is portrayed as being unequal to the gods, both on the east and western terrace, and on the bas-reliefs lying next to the colossal sculptures. While there are oriental precedents to this imagery, most notably in Egypt, the idea of the deified ruler seems rather rooted in the royal Hellenistic ideology. The costume of the king is equally charged from the imagological perspective. He invariably wears the tiara, a symbol of oriental royal power, entwined with the diadem. It's less easy to see, but this is the diadem, which is a symbol of the Macedonian kingship. The decoration of the tiara varies from one relief to another. In this case, it has a lion. Some other times it's an eagle flanked by stars, or sometimes even a thunderbolt. The presence of the lion may be explained as a reference to the king's zodiacal sign, while both the eagle and the thunderbolt may be interpreted as general symbols of royalty. Other elements of the royal attire bear the same mark of combination of traditions. Antiochus wears a tunic with long sleeves and trousers, but also a mantle, which is part of the Macedonian king's regular outfit. The decoration of the tunic features prominently the local Macedonian 8-rayed star, laurel leaves, reminding one of the Greek symbol of Olympic victory, and oak leaves, which in all likelihood point again to the privileged relation with Zeus or Omastes, the king of all gods. In his left hand, the king carries a long scepter, long here, an ancient Indo-European symbol of royalty, present both in Achaemenid imagery and in Greek representation of gods and kings, Zeus in particular. On his right thigh, the king has a short sword of the akinake type, the iconic sidearm of the Persian soldiers, which gained in time ritual significance, becoming, for example, the weapon used by Mithras, who is represented here, to slay the bull in Mithraic cults. The visual representation of the king is therefore complementary to his vision as expressed in the epigraphic form, a synthesized based in the formula, the Persians and the Greeks, the most fortunate roots of my family. What about Philopappos' monument? Then its style is purely Greek, with no trace of his ancestors' syncretistic taste in art. The lower portion of the funerary monument depicts the highlights of Philopappos' political career. It is a procession in which he, the consul, is preceded by lictors. His other representation, the larger-than-life statue, here, has him dressed in a fashion resembling more the good old-fashioned Socrates than his ancestor Antiochus I. Thus it seems biculturalism remained a feature within the Commagenian royal house, only the Persian side was conveniently forgotten, only to be replaced by a Roman one. At the end of this paper, it may be useful to conclude by asking what was ultimately the success of the strategies employed by the Orontids of Commagene. An anecdote in Josephus might illuminate this point. So Antiochus, the king of Commagene, died, and there was dissension between the common people and the nobles. Both sides sent an embassy to Rome, the powerful desiring to change their polity into a province, while the people wished to be ruled by kings according to the ancestral custom. If the wealthy desired the country to become a Roman province, possibly stimulated by the prospect of great economic freedom or eager to obtain greater guarantees of security with regard to their eastern neighbor Parthia, the people wanted to preserve the dynasty and the ways of their forefathers. This, I believe, is the most telling evidence of the success of the propaganda program devised by the kings of Commagene. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Yeah.
First, I have to apologize for that sound. It was the alarm that was supposed to wake me up 3 hours ago. Why?
Okay.
I don't know why it activated now. Second, I have an observation or a question, and then a real question, which troubles me. So, you said that Antiochus I was besieged by Pompeius? Mm-hmm. What is the source for that? I know that he was besieged. Not him. That there was a siege by a Roman general. It was Mark Antony's, some 30 years ago. But that siege, I do not know about.
It is
I know.
Pliny.
Who?
Pliny.
Pliny. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, and then the second question is that what is, in your opinion, because obviously everybody who dealt with the subject has an opinion and is very much entitled to. What is, in your opinion, the genealogical link that must have connected in the inscriptions? How did the Commagenian kings see the link between Alexander, Seleucus, and their own line? What was the link between Seleucus and their line? We know. What do you think was their mental link?
It's impossible to tell how they explained the relation. Tom attempted to make an explanation while thinking about the way the Bactrian kings made the same connection with Alexander through the Seleucids. And he quotes an anecdote of a man who, a private man, who tried to imitate Alexander so badly that he named all his children according to the names of the children of Alexander. And very bizarrely, among his children, there is the name of Apama. So apparently there was one version of the myth that made Apama, who was to become the wife of Seleucus, the daughter of Alexander. Now you can't ask for these myths to be rational.
Absolutely.
But apparently this was the link through Apama.
So you rather side with Tom?
No, I'm just saying that this might have been a rationalization process at work there. We have no independent way of corroborating therein, other than the fact that Antiochus puts Seleucus directly after Alexander. We don't know how he perceived this link.
And the last question, and so I invite also Mr. Gregorati to join the fight. What is in which way the way the Commagenian king Antiochus presents himself is to be found in some other Oriental bas-reliefs, sculptures, reliefs? What are the analogies?
Do you mean the style of art or the items depicted in art?
Well, as I said, the idea of Iranian kingship mixed to the Greek kingship, but also
that is pervasive in Eastern Anatolia. We see the same thing at work with the Mithridates of Pontus. We see a very similar thing happening with the Cappadocian dynasty, and also there are elements to be seen in Armenia, though that is a bit foreign to me, so I will not delve too much into Armenia. But I can certainly say that in Pontus and Cappadocia this was done in programmatic fashion, and the imitation of ancestors on both sides is done in programmatic fashion.